then automatically the power to discipline can be exercised as well by the appointing authority. Don't forget those principles, mahalaga po yan sa atin. Ngayon, while the power to discipline cannot be delegated, all the tasks pertaining to the exercise of that power is subject to delegation, including the conduct of investigation. And it is for that reason na sa mga ahensya po ng gobyerno, you don't see the discipline authority conducting the investigation himself. Kaya di ba sa mga ahensya ninyo may mga committees? Committees are created for purposes of conducting the investigation. Pero at the end of the investigation, they will submit a report and recommendation to the proper discipline authority because the final decision will have to come always from the proper disciplining authority. Okay? Now, yan. Dati natin po, sa 2017 RACs, yung predecessor ng 2025 RACs, there are 3 documents that cannot be signed by any other person because they are considered jurisdictional. Ibig sabihin, itong mga dokumento ito dapat at nakapirma si discipline authority. Ano yung mga dokumento na yun? Number 1, formal charge. Number 2, preventive suspension order. Number 3, yung decision is so kapag kinapit po sa amin yung kaso, nakita namin na hindi firmado ng discipline authority yung any of the 3 documents, ini-invalidate namin yung proceedings because these are jurisdictional. Pero, binaliktad po kami ng Supreme Court in the case of BIR versus Kathleen. Sabi yung Supreme Court yan, among the 3, ang jurisdictional law ay ang pag-render ng decision. The others, including the issuance of the formal charge and preventive suspension order, are not jurisdictional. And therefore, they can be delegated. Okay? Kaya kung makikita niyo po kanina, sa discussion natin, laging may court authorized representative, di ba? At kasama na po doon yung pag-issue ng formal charge at saka preventive suspension. Pwede na po sila i-delegate. Basta maliwanag lang na may delegation, hindi pwedeng i-assume yan. Dapat expressly delegated yung power to issue formal charge. Okay? At saka power to issue preventive suspension order. Okay? Ang hindi lang pwedeng i-delegate ay yung power to decide. Pero the rest, pwede na i-delegate. Kasi the only jurisdiction na is the power to decide in the case. Okay? Pero kanina ay
wala nga binti.
Iba na. Labay na.
Malaki tayo. Pwede pa ba sila mag-play administratively? Baka kung namatay, pwede pa ba mag-play?
Ito ba sa akin?
Mamatay na. Okay? Those are really good questions kasi ang Supreme Court din po ang nagsabi na ang jurisdiction sa administrative case can only be exercised over incumbent government officials and employees. So dapat nakapwesto. Kaya kung naka-resign, hindi siya government, di ba? So pwede mo ba mabuli ng administrative case kung naka-resign? At kung naka-retire, at kung namatay, pwede mo ba mabuli? The answer to those questions can be found in the proper application of this doctrine. Ang tawag po natin dito ay doctrine of permanency of jurisdiction. Iba po ito sa prescription. Ito yung authority to really decide. Pwede mo mapasuhan sa private individual na dating nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno. To know the answer, let us examine the different decisions of the Supreme Court pertaining to that issue. Ang sabi ng Supreme Court in one case, jurisdiction once present is not lost among the instance of the parties, but continues until the case is terminated. So, Supreme Court na ulit sabi, kapag na-acquire na yung jurisdiction, tuloy-tuloy yan. Kahit mag-resign pa yung tao, tuloy-tuloy yan. Kasi may jurisdiction ka na eh. Hindi pwedeng mawala yung jurisdiction regardless of subsequent developments. Kaya pwedeng kasuhan yan. Pwedeng tuloy-tuloy yung kaso. Provided, may kaso siya bago siya umalis. So, bago yung acquired jurisdiction, nasabi mo sa isang case, in administrative cases, jurisdiction over the person to take off remains, even if he resigned from the service, so long as the offense was committed during his incumbency. So, ganun pala, sabi mo dito sa decision na to, kailan ka makakakbar ng jurisdiction? Kapag daw gumawa ng kasalanan, may jurisdiction na agad. Because the government has the right to investigate immediately the moment the act was committed. So kahit umalis pa yung tao, basta nakagawa siya ng kasalanan habang nasa function ng gobyerno, pwede siyang kabulin administratively. Because the right to investigate is ours when the offense was committed.
Criminal case siguro.
Halimbawa, private individual na siya at guilty siya, paano may impose yung penalty? Kung dismissal po ang penalty, mararamdaman niya yun. Kasi kasama sa dismissal ay ang mga accessory penalties na perpetual disqualification for public office. Hindi siya makakadali. Hindi siya makakatakot sa eleksyon. Kasi may disqualification for public office. Pangalawa, forfeiture of retirement benefits. Kahit pinatanggap siya ng mga benefits kung umalis siya, okay, pag guilty siya, pwede bawiin sa kanya yun, ng gobyerno. At kung nagpe-pension na siya, yung nakikin ko yung pension niya. Kaya pwede ko mabulin kahit nakaretire, as long as the offense was committed while he is in the service. Ang hindi ka muna po forfeit sa government employee, kahit guilty pa siya, ay terminally benefits. Take out yung inyong mga accumulated leave credits na kukunin yung mag-aalis na kayo at tawag ng terminal leave benefits. Hindi mo siya subject to forfeiture kahit guilty pa yung tao. At hindi rin mo na-forfeit yung personal contributions sa GSIS. Kasi sabi ng Supreme Court, those are personal properties of the employee. And they cannot be garnished by the government. They cannot be taken away from the person. Ang pinag-forfeit lang yung mga benefits na galing sa gobyerno, such as retirement benefits. Kaya ituloy pa rin po yan kahit umalis na siya. Okay, again sabi ko ng decision, jurisdiction is acquired the moment the offense is committed. Pero, inabot po yan ng Supreme Court. In one case, the title is Andutal versus Ombudsman. Sabi ko ng Supreme Court dito, for purposes of acquiring jurisdiction, dapat may complaint. Hindi pwedeng commission of the act lang, dapat may complaint. Bago siya makaalis, bago siya makaresign, bago siya makaretire, o bago siya mamatay, para magtuloy-tuloy yung jurisdiction, dapat meron munang complaint. Otherwise, kung binay na siya ng complaint at the time na siya ay nakaresign na, hindi na mo pwedeng imbestigahan yun because you cannot acquire disciplinary jurisdiction over a private individual. Okay, si Antutan po kasi, dati pong director yan ng Department of Finance. Makakabit ng Department of Finance dito. Nung pumasok po ang gobyerno ni dating Presidente Estrada, nagbigay siya ng order to the Executive Secretary at the time na lahat ng director holding a CES position na walang seso. Alam niyo yung seso, di ba? Kung wala kang seso, dapat mag-resign ka. Because you are not holding a position under permanent status. Kasama si Antutan sa nag-resign. Pero 1 year after that resignation, naka-discover sila ng mga irregularity attributed sa grupo ni Antutan. Kaya kinasuhan sila ngayon. inassign po ni Angutan yung jurisdiction ng ombudsman over him administratively kasi sabi niya, nung pinag niyo yung kaso, private individual na ako. Pero nag-insist ang ombudsman citing the previous ruling. Kung bakit meron ito sa Supreme Court, ano sabi ng Supreme Court? Mali ang ombudsman. Bakit? Kasi wala pang hindi siya na-file ng complaint when he was in the service. Therefore, he could not validly acquire jurisdiction over him now that he is already a private individual. So for purposes of acquiring jurisdiction and for it to continue, dapat may complaint bago siya umalis. At kung may complaint, kahit umalis siya, tuloy-tuloy yung investigation. Kaya mo sabi ng Supreme Court dyan, a founded official's resignation is a tender moot an administrative case that was filed prior to the official's resignation. And the jurisdiction of the court at the time of the filing of the complaint was not lost by the mere fact that the respondent had ceased in office during the pendency of his case. So dapat meron po administrative complaint nung umalis siya. Okay? So ngayon, may exception ba dyan? Ang susunod pala ng question dyan. Is it the filing of the complaint or the issuance of a formal charge? O remember yung discussion natin kanina, a pending case starts only with the issuance of the formal charge, di ba? A mere complaint is not a pending case. So, ano ang isa ng jurisdiction? Complaint o formal charge? O sige na, naksan yung loob yun. Complaint o formal charge? Complaint. Because the right to investigate starts with the filing of the complaint. A formal charge is one of the stages in the investigation when you found the prima facie case. But actually, even before the issuance of the formal charge, investigation is already being conducted when the complaint is filed. And jurisdiction is already there at the time you conduct the investigation. Okay? So, wag mo tayo malilito doon, ha? So, jurisdiction is acquired upon the filing of the complaint. As a matter of fact, in another case, entitled Largo versus CA, sinabi ko dito ng Supreme Court, complaint yan. The filing of the administrative complaint against petitioner on December 17, prior to his retirement, effectively conferred upon the NPC, the CSA, and his court the jurisdiction to resolve the case until its conclusion. Hence, the guilt or innocence of the petitioner can be validly addressed by this court in the instant administrative case. So, filing ko ng complaint yan. Okay? O ngayon, look at this case, yung susunod. Yan. Si Pagano, nakagawa ng kasalanan. No? Tapos, grade offense po yung nagawa niya. Sabi ng kanyang discipline authority, kakasuhan ko babae na to. Babae na to. Nung nalaman niya na siya ay kakasuhan, immediately gumawa siya ng resignation letter. Resignation, ha? Because I'm already resigning, etc., etc. Ano yung rule natin sa resignation? Your resignation will not take effect if it is not accepted. So acceptance is a requirement before its effectivity. Pero, tandaan niyo po sa unang resignation na hindi pwedeng i-impose yan. Kaya yung purpose sa resignation, hindi yung valid yun kung ipipinit. Okay. And, kahit disapprove yung resignation, after 30 days, magiging valid yan. So it's either accepted or after the lapse of 30 days. Pero ito kasi kakasuhan na siya. So the question of resignation hindi tinanggap, hindi naging effective. Pero kailangan niya mag-resign. Nangyari po itong case na to, noong mga panahon na yung mga gustong kumandidato sa public office, nagpapile ng certificate of candidacy sa Comelec. And she resorted to that. Ayaw kasi tanggapin ng boss yung resignation niya, ang ginawa niya, nagpunta siya sa Comelec at nag-file ng certificate of candidacy. Nung nakuha niya yung certificate na inisyo ng Comelec, bumalik siya kayo kay boss. Sabi niya, Sir, I am now a candidate for public office and this is my certificate of candidacy. And pursuant to the provisions of the Omnibus Election Code, any appointed official or employee who files a certificate of candidacy is deemed resigned on the date of filing. So sabi niya, resign na ako. This is the certificate. Pero pinaliwala ko yun ng kanyang boss. Tinuloy pa rin siya. Until she was found guilty. Kaya ang nangyari, okay, nung inapili yung decision sa Supreme Court, inassign niya yun as one of the errors. Ang sabi niya, it was wrong for my boss to still continue the investigation against me because at that time I was already resigned. O ano sabi ng Supreme Court? You are wrong. Because resignation is not a way out to evade administrative liability when facing administrative sanction. The resignation of a public servant does not preclude the finding of any administrative liability to which he or she shall still be answerable. Paano natin ngayon i-reconcile yan sa kanlutan? Kasi sabi sa kanlutan, dapat may complaint. Ito nakapag-resign. Okay? Now, in the same decision of kanlutan, the Supreme Court explained, the controlling doctrine is still kanlutan. There must be a complaint before jurisdiction can be acquired. However, if the records will show that this person deliberately goes out of the service to avoid accountability, then jurisdiction may still be acquired over his or her person, even if the complaint is filed after the resignation. Why? Because resignation should not be a way out to evade administrative liability. There should be no easy escape from administrative liability. You better do that by the simple expedient of resigning. Okay? So again, the general rule is there must be a complaint, except if the records will show that he goes out of the service deliberately to avoid accountability. At yun po yung nangyari na ito. And that has been sustained in many other cases. Bakerco versus Sanchez, BSP versus Ombudsman. Ano sabi niya? However, the holding in Nandutan is premised on the finding that Nandutan was involuntarily separated from the service by virtue of a directive from the Executive Secretary. The separation from the service is not an absolute bar to the finding of parenthesis in charge if the public officer voluntarily separated from the service to prevent the imminent violation. Another case, Ombudsman versus Hermosura. Andutan cannot be applied to respondent's case. The respondent's voluntary separation from the service, in addition to her knowledge that the complaint will most likely to be filed against her at any time, bolsters the Ombudsman's position that the respondent attempted to forestall the filing